We're live. Good morning and welcome to the Failure to Stop podcast, the #1 podcast for police-related breakdowns. It's going to be super fun day today because we have two special guests. One is Santana True Crimes and Kelli. She is a 3-time true crime author. I'm going to let her introduce herself. She's got a lot. Like she's got a big podcast. She's got a lot going on. So I'm going to let her introduce herself in just a second. Today's show is brought to you by factormeals.com/Wolfpack50. That's Wolfpack50 OFF for 50% off your first purchase. Plus, I don't know what else you get. I'll read the ad read later. But today we're breaking down real cops react to Ben Crump's next excessive force case. And we already have a Ben Crump lover in the chats. Somebody who suffers from, I don't know, probably, do we call it Ben Crump, derangement syndrome? I don't know what the right word is for it, but I'm happy that he's here. St. Augustine. I think it's going to be a really fun trip to see what he has to say. He seems like he's a really smart person, so only time will tell. Abby Ellsworth is in the chat from being a police officer. Davey Armory Knight Nightkin from across the pond, thank you for showing up to the chats. Tyler S, we appreciate all of you guys. Without further ado, let me bring you know what, let's do an intro. Josh, take it away.
The growing calls across the nation to defund the police.
To end policing as we know it.
Off the charts violence in New York City. 11 people shot in just 8 hours on Sunday.
This is about the police officers who every single day put on that uniform and they run towards danger when we run away from it.
Guns up and giddy up. Thank you guys for being in the chats. I'm excited. Listen, we've got book fever. We got Pig Latin, a seriously funny true story dropping everywhere. All the stores, Target, Costco, Hudson's, Amazon, Barnes & Noble's, Books A Million. August 26th, it will be everywhere, and we're really excited. So anyway, I've got a bunch of authors on with me right now. I got Santana True Crime, who wrote the book A Murder on Campus, a Professor, the Cop in North Carolina's Most Notorious Cold Case, which is a cold case that they solved. So somebody was murdered, they weren't able to solve the case, and they saved the case. I know this is a shock to St. Augustine in the live chats, but I'm sure there is a victim out there that really, really appreciates law enforcement solving a case and never giving up on their family and bringing true justice to their family. Let me bring him up on here. We got Santana True Crimes, and then we've got another very, very, very special guest from the beaches of, I don't know, maybe she's in Provence, France, or maybe she's in the Keys. I don't know. Only maybe she'll tell you. But let me bring on Kelli. Kelli, it's Kelli Brink?
Kelli Brink. Yep.
I knew that. Brink was like one of my favorite movies on the Disney Channel when I was a young kid. So it's
skateboarding, right? Yeah.
Well, it was rollerblading.
Oh,
but
yes.
I do like skateboarders better than fruit booters. But I don't know. Back in the day, I really enjoyed it. Tell me really quick, what you're a 3-time author, true crime author, and you're a podcaster. Tell us what you do.
Yeah. So True Crime Sleep Stories is my podcast and my book. I've done 3 volumes of true crime sleep stories, but the latest project I'm working on is called Missing Persons Archives. And I just released a book 2 weeks ago that's by the same name, Missing Persons Archives. So I'm doing lots of stuff in the true crime field.
That's really fun. A friend of ours, more of a friend of my wife, her husband disappeared, and he's just now, it's been like 3 years, I think. But they found his car in a national forest, and he actually popped up on a podcast. My wife was listening to one of these true crime missing persons podcasts, and it was about him being missing in a park. I think he crawled out there and shot himself. That's what
a lot of people do that, and they like in park settings, state parks, national parks. That's kind of like a popular area to do that in, I guess. But yeah.
It is. We've worked a few of those, Santana. We worked one in Umstead. Remember the guy that parked at Umstead and walked down the Greenway and waxed himself?
Yeah, that would be a popular place in Lake Johnson in North Carolina near NC State. I remember one girl would put a bunch of chains around herself and drowned herself. And the fire department had to go in, and they could only hold her on the bow of the boat. So it was like an eerie theme because you had a dead body being dragged across the lake.
Oh,
kind of crazy.
But
Eric, don't forget, this Tuesday, Kelli Brink, the episode drops.
Okay. Is that on Santana True Crime?
That's on Santana True Crime. We discuss a few of the cases in our books, so make sure everyone checks that out.
All right. Yeah. Head over to Santana True Crime. And yeah, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. StreamYard redid all the graphics over here. I was going to put a little graphic up for you, but I don't see it over there. So I apologize. But anyway, all right, we got a big case to break down today. Kelli, if you're not familiar with this show, we usually do case breakdowns. I rarely have guests on this show. It's a breakdown from a cop's perspective. But listen, I think you're a civilian, right? And you do some like true crime stuff. And this is what I love working with true crime folks, like especially Allie in the archives and some other people like that, Kendra J. Rama, Andrea Uplay. I've always been interested in the true crime. Why are all true crime people women, by the way? It makes me sound like a creep.
Yeah, women are obsessed with true crime. So they're the biggest consumers of it. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'm not just out like being thirsty for like true crime women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, people are like, oh yeah, this guy's like really into true crime girls. It's just because that's all there is. There's not very true crime. Santana's like the only dude I know that's in the game right now. Actually, that's not true. Todd McComas, big guy in the game there. But anyway. I always like the civilian perspective because when I listen to civilian true crime podcasts, oftentimes they're right in a lot of things, but then they have this speculation about the police and their involvement in the case, which actually that speculation, they'll take that one speculation and they'll run this whole narrative off of that one. And I'm like, yeah, but you're wrong here, which is going to change that entire perception of the entire case. You know, I think about like the OJ trial or like some of the bigger known true crime cases. What's the little girl, John Benet Ramsey? You know, a lot of these theories come off of what the police did. And there's actually a really simple explanation that's going to like, I just wish I could call them sometimes and be like, hey, let me tell you why the cops did that. And it's like super common thing. And it's actually not really a conspiracy. I know listen, I like a good conspiracy. I like things not to add up, but unfortunately, like being there and knowing this, like that's not what, cops have to do a lot of things. And if you're in a department that doesn't work a lot of murders, you don't get a lot of practice at that one thing. Right.
That's
so
right.
For example, I worked in a very high crime area. I worked a stabbing or a shooting almost every night that I was on duty. Same with Santana. Not saying that they died, but somebody got shot or stabbed every night that we worked, just about. And so we're really good with working with crime scenes, but try to get Santana and I to like do DUIs.
Yeah.
Not very good at those things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, bank robberies. Like I've never worked. I mean, maybe I worked one bank. So I wouldn't know what to do. If somebody robbed a bank in my area, I would be like flipping through, the books trying to be like,
YouTubing it, like how to solve a bank robbery.
What do I do first? So if you don't work a lot of homicides, a crime scene reporter, a lot of true crime people put a lot of blame on the notes that a true crime reporter takes. And I always just want to explain what a true crime reporter is. It's not a grandiose job. It's usually a rookie or somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. And you're like, you grab your notepad out and everybody that comes into this crime scene, you write when they came in and when they came out. Well, that sounds really easy. But when you have 3 EMS workers walk by you at one time, a firefighter walk by you, a detective walk by you, a canine cop walk by you, all at the same time in one big group, the rookie's like, excuse me, I need your names. And they're like, shut the fuck up, dude. And then he's like, and so he's going to get that wrong. Like the crime scene reporter stuff is always wrong because it's usually somebody has no idea what the fuck they're doing. And we don't know that case is going to be that big of a deal at that moment.
Exactly. Yeah. You have no idea what's coming. And I think everyone's just trying to do their best, to be honest. There's a lot going on, but those conspiracy and cover up theories are kind of like sexy. So everyone wants to like say, oh, the cops were in on this. It was a whole big thing. There's 10 people who are all in cahoots together and covering up all this stuff or planting evidence or something like that. But I think usually like the most simple explanation is the right one.
Yeah, and maybe in a smaller department, you could get a group of guys together to commit a conspiracy. I'm not saying that it's impossible.
No, I know it happens.
It definitely happens. But it's not very, it's not as easy as society would have you believe because most police officers go to college. Most of them have 4-year degrees or master's degrees even. I think I was one of 2. in my academy class at 56, I was one of 2 that didn't have a college degree. Everybody else had a college degree. And so being that you have a college degree, it's probably a 50 to 60% chance you're going to be extremely left wing on top of the right. So it's not like you have this giant right wing race. It's not that simple. So why I say that is because you never know who you're working with and what side of the fence, because nobody talks politics at work when you're a cop, because you're not really supposed to. And
That's good. Yeah.
And nobody really cares. There's too much going on. But like, it would be very difficult for me to go to somebody and try to present to them a crime that we can commit together, because like the chances of them tattling are like extremely high.
I mean, it's hard to keep one person's mouth shut, from spilling all the details. Can you imagine like a whole department keeping a secret for however many years? I think that would be pretty hard.
Yeah, I think they just think that we're like this group that all thinks the same thing when we're not. Like, you have cops that are obsessed with community policing, and then you have cops like me who think community policing is the worst thing in the world. You have people who think that, it's just, you have people from all sides that all think that they know the right way to fix it. And so it's really hard to kind of collaborate in a large group to commit a large conspiracy, because you never know. Like, for instance, I had a partner who is a Muslim. He was a black guy and he was a Muslim. And I was a partner with him for like 4 or 5 months. We rotated. We did a lot of stuff together. And he did not like any of the policing that I did. He didn't like my style of policing. Well, he ended up getting arrested. What did he get arrested for?
So he got arrested because he was using a CI that was buying dummies. And everyone knew that, or he should have known that the guy was buying dummies. But then it escalated to the point that he would like go into this, like an older person's home and come out and then give the dummy to, well, I won't say his name, but I'll say the Muslim police officer. And the Muslim police officer would then execute a search warrant. And what got this kind of going is that the SWAT team came, thinking that everything is legit, and they go serve a search warrant, and like the old person like crapped their pants and was really traumatized. And then they started looking into it. They're like, wait a minute, I understand that these mistakes are being made, but it kind of got the ball rolling. But was even better than that, which I think you missed out on because you had already left, was, I'll say his name, Rodriguez.
Oh, he sold the cocaine while in uniform.
So this guy came to our squad, and he was a real go-getter, was from, he did some time in the Marine Corps. And when I first met him, I was usually the first person in the squad room in the morning. And he would always beat me there, and he'd look exhausted. I was like, man, what's the matter with you? And he was giving me the sob story about how his kids were abandoned from his wife. So he was like driving back and forth to Greensboro. Basically, I knew that he was under a lot of stress and that, he wasn't taking care of himself. And you kind of saw that progress. And then he started to, but he's a go-getter. Like, he's getting a lot of gang members with coke on him. And the next thing I know, he gets arrested by the DEA. And what he was doing is he was arresting the drug dealers and finding out where their stash was, and then taking that and selling it back on the street. So he ultimately ended up selling it to an undercover DEA agent, which, he's now in federal prison for.
Yeah, but see, he had to work alone because he knew that he couldn't tell any of the other cops that, because they would rat him out in a heartbeat. So it's kind of like my point. It's like, it's really hard to get away with stuff when you're a cop, because it's like no cop is going to probably tolerate it. So you're not going to have a lot of friends. You know what I mean? Like, cops are notorious to be tattletalers. So St. Augustine, he was a black Muslim. The reason why I point that there is because the community listened to him as a leader in the community because of he was a person of color and he was of a different religion than most people. And at that time, that was a really big deal. And so to have him be involved in something like that was a much bigger deal than what was expected, because I think the community thought that this was, kind of the, I don't want to say DEI hire, but like they had high hopes. You know what I mean? Here we have a person, because, especially when I wrote my book, Pig Latin, I wanted to add persons of color from the police department in the book and stories about them, because the squad was all white people. And so I had to write in the book why all the characters in the book were white people and all the suspects were black people. I wanted to make it clear. And the reality is that the Southeast district where we work, the high crime area, was the only district that was a voluntary district to go to. So you volunteer to go to our district. Our district is comprised of 80% black community. No black officers volunteer to work there. They just don't want to work there because they don't want to be called all the names. They don't want to be called Uncle Tom. There's a myriad of reasons why they don't want to work there. And so what happens is you have a whole bunch of white officers working in an all black community. And so, how can you be, it's not racist that all you've arrested is like 98% black people. It's just, there's no white people or Hispanic people in the area that we police. So how is it, how do you arrest any other persons of any other color? So, but yeah, that's why I bring up that he was a black Muslim, because it was a big deal at the time. Especially since he was arrested in 2018 at like the peak of the,
I can't remember the date,
BLM
but
stuff,
you're exactly right of how when I say that he was the poster boy, he was literally on like billboards.
Yes.
And I mean, he was a jack dude.
Yeah, he was really good shape. But see, our chief was black. His lieutenant was black. The lieutenant of special operations was black. So like all of his supervisors were black. So it wasn't like the white people trying to get a black Muslim out. I mean, our captain was black. I mean, all of our leadership, lieutenant, she was black. Everybody was a person of color. So it wasn't like the white man was running at the black Muslim. So, it's just, it just happened to be that way. But anyway, speaking of racially charged cases, we do have a racially charged case today, which is always fun. I knew, we had to have one for the summer. We haven't had one in a while. We always break down the biggest cases, and the biggest cases in the last 9 months haven't been racially charged at all. We haven't had any big, like this happened because of X, but this is one that happened in February, but it made mainstream media this week. And it's, it's kind of racially charged, but again, we'll see if it's actually racially charged or if that's just the mainstream media or it's just we'll see. We'll break it down. We'll see what you guys think. And let's play it up. Here we go.
Florida 24 Bravo Echo Charlie Whiskey on a silver Kia. I don't like this.
It's coming to us from police activity. Make sure you go and give them a like and follow.
I'd just like to first go through the breakdown that he talks about. The police officer gives out the plate and he says unknown occupants. So he doesn't know who's in the car yet, which I would also say it's like hard to be racist when you don't know who's in the car. I don't know, like even if somebody has like dark window tint, like on my vehicle, there's no way you would know if I'm a white person or a black person driving my car. And I would say 90% of the stops I ever made, I would have no idea if it was a guy driving, a girl driving. I could probably guess that they were black just because there wasn't anybody else in the neighborhood that I worked in that wasn't black. So, chances were they were going to be like, but it's like race doesn't really come into the key. Like we don't really go like, oh, a black person, let's pull him over. I know society would like to think that's the way it works, but it's just simply not that way. So let's just start with, he's pulled a car over and he doesn't know who the occupant is, or at least that's what he says on the microphone. Let's see what happens.
Yes, sir.
Is there a reason why you're popping the door open like that?
I don't have a window that works. Is there a reason that you're pulling me over?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on. Two things, you're not wearing your seatbelt.
It's daylight. I don't need the lights. And it's not weather. It's not raining.
Oh, this is inclement?
It's not raining.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
No, call your supervisor. Why?
Excuse me?
Call your supervisor.
All right, so he did see the driver, unknown occupant. He must have meant that he doesn't know the name of the occupant, and he probably ran that tag. I would have to guess if he doesn't know the occupant, he would have ran that tag, and it would have probably came back to his mom or his dad or somebody else. But that doesn't match, or at least he wasn't able to see their face. But the cop notices that he doesn't have a seatbelt on, and also doesn't have his lights on with inclement weather. A lot of people will say like that sounds very petty. Well, I will say this. I bet you that's not the reason why he stopped him. I'll be straight up honest with you, St. Augustine. I'll be clear. I'll guarantee you, I'm not saying he pulled him over because he's black, but I will tell you that the gentleman here did something suspicious. I don't know this for a fact, speculating. But as an officer, I will say that when you pull somebody over for that kind of a pettiness, it's because they've done something else. Either they were speeding, they cut somebody off, they grossly ran a stop sign, or my favorite, the felony look back. This to me screams the felony look back. Do you know what the felony look back is?
No,
you don't know?
I can assume, but tell me.
You want to know that? So, okay, generally, let me put you in another secret, St. Augustine. I'm giving out all the cop secrets here. You guys will love this. Cops typically will police based on indicators, right? And usually if a cop has 3 indicators, then we'll pursue that vehicle more. If we don't get 3, a lot of cops, unless you're an old person that likes to write tickets, most cops will, if you don't have 3 indicators, will give you a warning and let you go, unless they're a traffic cop, and then you're fucked. You know, like if it's a state trooper or a traffic cop, like they're giving you a ticket. But most cops aren't traffic cops. Most cops are street cops. And so we're not out to just give out tickets, but we're out to stop crime. And so we go off an indicator-based policing. And so the felony look back is like a huge indicator. And this is the felony look back. It's when the chin deviates the shoulder. Most people do this when they see a cop. You know what I mean? They do the, like, let's not be obvious. Or they'll do this. Oh, does he see me? And they'll keep driving. But nobody goes like that.
Like when you see a hot girl walking by or something.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Yeah. Like that's when you're creeping. Like most guys will like look at a girl and then look away. But when a dude's like being a creeper, it's like that's when that chin deviates the shoulder. Like you know he's so you know your husband or your boyfriend's. Yeah, we call it the felony look back.
Creeping on the cop. Okay.
Yeah, creeping on the cop. That's indicator number 1. And so that would be a big one for me. Almost every time that you get behind a car after they've done the felony look back, you put in the tag and it's like they don't have insurance or license is suspended or they have a warrant. There's always something with the felony look back. So maybe he got a felony look back from this guy. Maybe he swung around, he swings around and maybe this car is a suspect in another crime. It's in a bolo. Like there is this cop's not just driving around going, I want to pull somebody over. You know why? Because we don't have to do that. Like we don't have to be petty, especially in Jacksonville, Florida. Look, I'm from Jacksonville. I've done tons of shows in Jacksonville. We did one with Ken Shamrock, and I'm very close. I've done a lot of live shows at Island Girl Cigar Bar in Jacksonville for law enforcement. So I'm very close to law enforcement in Jacksonville. They do not need to be petty in Jacksonville, Florida. Like there is so much fucking crime in Jacksonville, Florida, that these dudes don't need to be petty. You don't need to drive around and try to figure out why to pull somebody over. It's I make the joke that it's like you could go to Ponte Vedra, which is just south of Jacksonville. It's where all the rich people are. And you could run plates for 12 hours straight and every one of them would be good. And so you would have to nitpick. You would have to be like, oh, well, he slow rolled that stop sign or something like that because you can't find anything else to do. But you could go up to Neptune and every other plate is like suspended, driver's license revoked, wanted, warrants, so we don't, Jacksonville, this guy's not being nitpicky. There is a reason why his attention was drawn to the car. And then he has a reason to pull him over. Not wearing a seatbelt, that's a crime. It's a very easy one to spot. And then 2, if you want to argue that one, if you have your windshield wipers on, you have to have your headlights on. Sorry, that's just the way the rules are written. And so this cop had more than one indicator, plus he has reasonable and articulable articulation of why he pulled him over. There's crimes that have been committed. He's not wearing a seatbelt. And then here's indicator number 2. I pull over 25 cars a day. And I would write 25. I mean, I probably wrote less than 20 tickets my whole career. But I could pull over 25 cars a day, pretty easy. And I would write 25 warnings. And I would say very rarely, maybe once a month, would somebody open their door to their car when I pulled them over. It's not reasonable. Like that doesn't really happen. Have you ever just flung your door open on a traffic stop?
Heck no. I'm always like overly cautious, but I've only been stopped like couple times in my life. I've never had a
Sure.
speeding ticket or anything, but no.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
exactly, right?
do
Because
that.
you're a reasonable, normal human being that doesn't have a lot of interactions with police. So, like, and even though you don't have practice with the police, you still know better than to open your car door. Cops
Yeah.
don't like that. How many times have we done these breakdowns? We've done 400 episodes, I think, something like that, where they just open the door and get to blasting on a cop, where they roll down the window and shoot the cop in the face. I mean, it happens all the time. We don't really like that. That's, if you want to scare a cop, is way scared. So now you have to deal with a cop that has a little bit of adrenaline. Why can't you open your door? Because that's not how a traffic stop is conducted. We don't.
But he did say that his window didn't work. So what would
That's
you
okay.
do with that?
And
case?
and the cop does fine. He says, like, why did you open the door? And the guy has an excuse. And so the cop starts to proceed. It's not that you can't do it. It's just that if you don't want to have a cop that's on edge, keep your door down and be a reasonable person. Do everything reasonably and what everybody else does, and you won't have a problem. You know, if this guy would have rolled his window down and gave him his license, he would have gotten off with a warning. Now he looks like a fool to the whole nation, but I don't want to spoil this for you, but he looks like a complete idiot.
I think everyone's seen this week, probably, right?
Yeah, and it's ridiculous. It's over the top, right? So this could have been over in 5 seconds. It's a very easy stop. But some people like the attention and they want that drama. I can't explain why, but they're just, people really like attention and like drama.
Not to dive into it ahead of the game,
Yeah,
but
go ahead.
I mean, he wanted the attention. Look, he put his phone right there on his dashboard, and it changes his whole demeanor, as we're gonna see, between like what's on his cell phone and what's being recorded here. So
Right. And this cop's not going to get to blasting, and the cop doesn't get to blasting, but it's an indicator of like, this isn't normal. But then he finds out that the window doesn't go down. Okay, perfect. That's great. And then he starts to go up, and now the guy's asking for a supervisor. Santana, what's the number one reason why people want to have a supervisor? What are they trying to do?
Well, they're trying to stall. And what's really interesting too is when he pops the door open, look where his foot is. He's got his foot propped in the door jamb. And so I think that when he looked back, he was thinking about either A, running. As a cop, you would think he's either A, going to run, B, about to pull a gun out on you, or C, he's going to charge you. But the whole his window works or doesn't work. I'm wondering if his window actually does work, if that was just a big lie, because we know from watching the video, not to jump ahead, that the passenger side works.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think the cop really even cares at this point. The cop's not being unprofessional at all.
Yeah.
no,
And
not
It's a
at all.
traffic stop.
Too.
He asked a legit
rookie
question.
cop-
He got a legit answer, and he's
Yeah.
dealing with it perfectly. Like the cop's gun's not drawn or anything. But then you have this this tone of voice coming from the driver that he wants a supervisor. We know indicator number 3, and you called it, that he is trying to stall. Here's another indicator, number 4 for you, just because I'm really big into indicator policing, and I'm going to tell you a story at the end of this, and it'll make a lot of sense to you, St. Augustine, of why I police this way. If you're interested in why I do things, I'll just give you that story. I think you'll appreciate it, but I'm not sure. But indicator number 4 here is whenever you're trying to conceal something in the car, you have to make yourself bigger than that one thing. So, for instance, if somebody has a gun in the glove compartment, they will often sit in the cop car. They're sitting in their car in their window, and they will make themselves bigger. They will put their hand up on the steering wheel. They'll sit very awkward because it's just an internal thing that they don't even realize that they're doing, but they're trying to shield your attention from anything else that might be in the car.
And what they
And so-
don't realize is they're drawing more attention to those sorts of things by
absolutely.
doing that. Because look at his stance there. He's like, nothing to see here. Like, he
Yeah,
definitely looks like he's hiding something. Like, don't look over on this side.
Yeah. It's like, do you have kids, Kelly?
Yeah, 3 boys.
So you know,
I know all
so
those
you know,
things,
and that's what's crazy about cops too. It's like, and I used to say this all the time, that like, if you're a good parent, you can be a good police officer because like the same shit that your kids do, that you're like, why is he crying? And your kid's like, and you're like, nope, I'm not asking you. I'm asking him because you know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
Like, A's trying to come up with a story of why he's crying, and it's not going to be the truth. So it's like, it's always fun because criminals do the same thing. It's like if you say, hey, I put 5 M&Ms on the table. Why is there only 3 M&Ms? And your kid looks at his pocket and goes, I don't know. Well, the M&Ms are in his pocket because like
Yeah.
Cop, like bad guys will do the same thing. You'd be like, did you steal, X, Y, and Z from the Dollar General? And they're like, no. And you're like, oh, okay, well, it's in their purse. Like my kids do the same shit when they didn't take something, from their brother or whatever. It's
criminals
funny, but,
have the mentality of a child too. A lot of the time.
Oftentimes they do. And so let's go on with this case. I don't see anything unprofessional at this point. Do you, Santana? Would you have done anything different?
I think that he's doing a great job. I think that if this was a rookie officer and he really was losing his stuff, he would have drawn his gun as soon as that door popped out and started pointing at him, barking orders at him. Yeah. But he remains pretty calm. He also doesn't get too close, which is good officer safety. So at this point, I think he's doing everything correctly.
All right, let's keep going.
Why did you pull me over? 27, 35. I'm fucking with the dog driver. I've already told you. Why did you pull me over? Step out of the vehicle. No. Step out of the vehicle.
Okay, so now we have a lot of indicators here. So let me what this officer is going through. One, we have to dismiss repetitive repetition. This is very difficult as a cop. Kelli, do you know what repetitive repetition is?
Well, no, but as a cop, no, but yeah.
No, but yes. Okay. As a cop, and we will see this in so many videos. I complain about it constantly. Every cop except a few, right? There's like some outliers, but every cop gets caught up in repetitive repetition once or twice in his career. And that's when, for me, it can happen a few different ways. Pay attention, St. Augustine. A couple of different ways that this can happen. One, you're scared. Okay. You can start repetitive repetition because you're scared. No, that didn't happen to me often. There wasn't a lot of time. I came from a military background, combat experience. There was very few times where I was like, oh shit. Like I knew that I could do work in front of me. And I didn't need to have repetitive repetition. Although I do write about the one time I did when I was a rookie in my book, and I make fun of myself. I think it's in chapter 2, and I get caught in repetitive repetition, but it's not because I was afraid. It's because we're confused and we don't know what to do. And let me give you an example. I pulled a guy over for speeding. I knew he was speeding, but I didn't clock him on radar. He came by. I write about it in the book. It's in Pig Latin. You can go and read the book. St. Augustine, you'd probably love it and laugh at it, but he comes whipping by really fast. And I had just gotten off of a stolen car case where I did everything wrong. I didn't catch the car. I went the wrong way. I borderline wrecked my car. It all went around. I was embarrassed. And so I go, and it's 2:00 in the morning, and I go behind this gas station that's abandoned, and I'm shaking, my adrenaline's pumping, and I'm so disappointed in myself because I know that Santana, my training officer here, is going to make fun of me in the locker room for losing this guy. And it's awful. And then here comes this car in the range, and this BMW going like way too fast in a 35. But I don't know. I'm a rookie cop. I don't have a radar, and I didn't really know what the rule was. Well, can I pull somebody over because they look like they were going too fast? Do I have to have a radar? Can I articulate that he was going fast? And I'm thinking about all these things, and I'm like, well, fuck it. This guy's doing something. And then as he's coming by, he gives the felony look back. He goes, but he does it like this. Mouth open, like, oh shit. Like he knows he's fucked. And so I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to redeem myself. And here I am, rookie Eric. This is my first Friday night alone. And I'm going to redeem myself, Kelli. And I jump in my cop car and I race down after him. And so I'm like, all right, I'm trying to tell myself, calm down, breathe. What do you have here? Okay, he's speeding. Let's catch up to him and pace him. And so that we can articulate that when we pull him over, he was speeding. So I don't have my lights or sirens on. So I'm trying to catch up to him. I'm going 90 miles an hour in a 35 and I can't even catch him. And so I'm like, okay, well, now I can articulate that I'm going 90 miles an hour. You can see on my dash cam video that I'm going 90 miles an hour and he's getting further. So I'm going to hit all my blue lights and see what happens. So the guy starts making all these wild turns down all these streets and he pulls into a driveway and he jumps out of his car. Well, I hadn't had anybody jump out of their car yet. So that's scary, right? So now I'm like, get back in your car. And he's like, you get back in your car. And I'm like, you get back in your car. And he was like, bitch, this is my house. And I'm like, I don't care. Get back in your car. And he was like, bitch, you can't tell me what to do. Get off my property. And I'm like, no, you get back in your car. And he's like, get off my property. And I'm like, I'm not on your property. He's like, yes, you are on my property. I'm like, no, I'm not. And he's like, you in my driveway. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, that's my property. Get on my property. And we go through this for like ever. And it's this repetitive repetition because I didn't know or have the confidence of what to do. And so I call in for backup. And then he was like, I said, why you pulled me over? I was like, I pulled you over because you're speeding. He's like, no, you pulled me because I'm going black, because I'm driving while black. And I'm like, I didn't even know you were black. Like, I just knew you were going really fast, Plus, I saw you go like, but I didn't like recognize what color skin you had. I just saw your mouth like, holy shit. And, so I'm trying to have this argument with him. And then another cop comes up and he tries to reason with the guy, and the guy won't be reasonable. And the guy takes off running. And so this other cop was like, go catch him. And I was like, oh, finally, I know what to do. Like, bad guy runs, Eric catches him. Come to find out, he had a suspended license and he was drunk, really drunk. And so, everything worked out. But I was stuck in repetition for like 6 minutes.
Whoa.
And so my supervisors, they saw the video and they pull it in. They're like, hey, this is not what you do as a cop. You tell him once and then that's it. Like, the rest is just stalling. The rest is him trying to convince you not to do your job. And that's not reasonable. It wasn't reasonable for him to be going that fast. It wasn't reasonable for him not to stop when you turn on your blue lights. It's not reasonable for him to jump out of the car and start yelling at you. And it's not reasonable for him to continuously ask you why you pulled him over when you've already told him like 8 fucking times.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so, but it's very easy when you don't know what to do to get caught up, or you're just nervous, or you're not a well-trained officer. So this
confidence, like you said, you gain it after a while, but
yeah. Until you've been in the situation, you may not know exactly what to do. And so this cop is good. He's not going to get involved in repetition. He already knows it. He's like, this guy's acting bigger than life. He's kicked his door open. We already have whatever indicator led up to the stop. Plus we have the traffic stop. This should be bam, wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. And we should be done here. But no, there is something more. And that's why this cop is pursuing the stop, because there's an indicator that there is something bigger in this car than him, or else he wouldn't be acting that way. And so the cop now has a reason to protect himself. This guy has given him 4 indicators that this cop needs to protect himself. And then the guy slams the door. That's not normal. Jace, have you ever had somebody slam the door on you that didn't just drive away really fast?
Well, incidents like this, they started to occur before I left Raleigh, where people wanted to have these long debates about, their rights, and they felt that they had the ability to either they didn't want to open up the door unless they had a black officer there or a supervisor, or they wanted a black supervisor. And anytime the supervisor would come, they would give them the same spill, which is that, look, you've got to comply or else you're going to go to jail. And if there's, anything that you want to debate, you can debate that in court. Like, that's the proper form, not on the side of the road, where you can be a threat to that officer.
Right. And I mean, like, what's in it for you? I mean, I get it. This guy has probably more going on in that car. And probably, I don't know. Like, Josh, our producer, did he have anything else pending or anything?
For the traffic stop?
Yeah, like prior to the traffic stop, did he have anything? Or the media's probably not even give us that yet.
They haven't completely released that, because what had happened was this incident happened in February. This person took the cell phone video, and then they just released a cell phone video a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
In between this time frame, not to Quentin Tarantino this, but this guy has already been to court for this and pled guilty to the charges from this. Everything that we are talking about right now, he has already pled guilty in a court of law to this.
Okay.
So he's already been to court to have his time in front of a judge and start to question this stuff. But after he's gone to court, after he's pled guilty, after he's finally, but like, you know what? I'm going to try to use this little bit of a cell phone video to try to drum up some media coverage, to try to get some people on my side. But then the police department has released the entire body camera footage from this. Within 23 seconds, he became argumentative.
Okay, here we go. Let's keep going and see what we have here. Put it back up there, Joshua. Here we go. Opening the door. Oh, he's locked the door.
25 seconds. For 94, the driver just slammed the door and locked it. Yep. 25 seconds. If anybody responding, come in from Commonwealth, block the vehicle, please. I'm coming west on Commonwealth. I'll be there in a second. Keep your hands where I can see them, sir. My camera's on too. I've already told you. Okay. Okay. Right now you're under arrest for resisting. You understand?
So I think this is brilliant. Like, this cop is he's not gonna get involved in repetitive repetition. I've already told you. Now I'm telling you you're under arrest. And that's the end of the story. You heard him. You argued with him about the reason why he pulled you over. You asked him to clarify about your lights. So you know why you got pulled over. It's a lawful stop at that point. And this cop is like, yeah, I'm not going to play that game. And I've got no problem with it because we know what it leads to.
You're under arrest for resisting. The longer you take us on, the worse it's going to be.
Do you have any questions? If you have any questions, you can just ask. And I'll stop it. But
keep your hands wide.
Here's one question that I know people are thinking is, if he stops right now, if he stops resisting, does it get better, or is the cop bluffing? No, the cop's not bluffing. If the guy would have opened the door and started to comply right now, he would not arrest him for RDO.
And he wouldn't have had his window broken out, and he wouldn't have been, that would never have happened. Sorry.
Yeah. So he was not bluffing. If you comply now, if you don't comply, it's
gonna
only
get worse.
Like, he's being very truthful here.
You can see him, sir. Okay. Sir, this is your last warning to open the vehicle and exit before we're going to break the window. Open the door and exit, or we are going to break the window. Open the door and exit, or we are going to break the window.
Well, we're conducting a traffic stop right now. You need to comply.
No, you're under arrest.
Hey, a lot of what I'm going to
Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit.
And so the cop's doing a really great job. He's pushing his car to sandwich this in because we don't want the whole ramming situation, which is about to happen because this is fight or flight.
We're under arrest for resisting.
I'm not really impressed about this.
Open the door and exit. You are.
So now, do you hear the other cop? What's the other cop stuck in right now?
I didn't hear what he said. What did he say?
He's saying the same thing over and over again. He's stuck in repetitive repetition because he doesn't know what his next move is. He doesn't want to break that window. If he did want to break that, if he did want to go through with this, like he was like, fuck yeah, and he was jazzed up, he would have stopped talking. But with this cop is going, I've got baseball practice with my kids today at 4. I still haven't had lunch. If we break this window open now, I'm going to have to take this guy down to jail. We're going to have a fuck ton of proper. I'm not going to get off on time. My wife's going to be super pissed off. This cop is thinking in his brain all of these things. And so he's going, please open the window. Please open the window. Please open the window. By the way, if you're a parent and you do this with your kids, you are setting yourself up for failure and your kids up for failure, because the more you say that when they get to become teenagers, the more you're going to have to say it. You should be practicing. Ask your child once, tell them once, and then, discipline them however you see fit. But like doing this, like, son, stop jumping on the bed. Stop jumping on the bed.
What incentive do they have to stop? Like,
Right.
you're just going to keep saying it. You're not going to do anything. Yeah.
Right.
Well, Eric,
yes.
let me give you a different perspective on this. And
Okay.
this may be true or you may be right. And I completely, understand the repetitive stuff. But I think another part of this is that he's buying time for his guys to get in place. Like, he's buying time for the car to get blocked in. He's getting more people there, which is absolutely fantastic. And I think that kind of an advantage of saying this over and over is when he goes to court, his body camera is going to pick up him saying that, I told him 105 times that he is under arrest and that this is resisting arrest and it's unlawful. And
you're probably right. You're 100% right.
Because you know what this reminds me of? It's like a standoff when you've got a hostage situation and you've got the, SCU or the SWAT team is setting up and they're going around the building And meanwhile, you're on the PA and your job is just to say, you know, this is the Raleigh Police Department. You were under arrest, you know, blah, blah, blah. And you're just making those commands over and over and over. And meanwhile, they're about to kick the door in and throw a flashbang at the guy's feet.
Right. I would say at this point, this guy's rights have not been violated in any way, shape, or form. This guy is in the wrong. 100% he's in the wrong, and all he has to, there's no rights have been violated. And I think it is, you can think about your wife and your kids if you want to at work. We all do it. We're all human beings, and this is a 30-year career, and you're working a 12-hour shift. You know, you don't, trust me, you don't want robots. You don't want robot cops.
And I think what you were saying is like, he's thinking about stuff. He does not want to escalate the cop. I mean, he's not like, ooh, let me just like punch this guy in the face and because he's black. He's not like setting out because he's a black man. Like he does not want extra work. So that's
because if he wanted to, he would just stop talking because he wouldn't want the guy to obey. You know what I mean? Like like if you're really that cop that you really want to hurt somebody, then you would just stop talking. Nobody tells you that you have to keep saying the same thing over and over again. He would just be like, all right, cool, sit there, bitch. I'm about to blast you in the face. You know, so it's like he's giving this guy every opportunity to get out. And people don't realize this. Cops do not like, you might want to get into an incident once in your career where you're like, oh, you know, I want a moment, you know, where it defines myself or something like that. But like once you've had one like foot chase, right? Like every cop secretly wants to be in one foot chase, right? Because you've been playing cops and robbers your whole life. Right. Well, after that first foot chase where you tackle the guy on the cement and you scraped up your knee and you smacked your elbow on the concrete and it sucked, and then you had to do a whole bunch of paperwork and your cell phone shattered because it was in your pocket, and it was, you're like, dude, I'm never chasing anybody again. You know? And
the other thing you probably don't want is to live in infamy on social media and the internet and have people doxing you and finding out who you were, who are against you. And you don't want any of that either. Yeah,
no, you're 100% right. All right, let's finish this video out.
Under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting.
Can you unlock the door and step out? I will. Can you step out? You're being done. There's a traffic stop being conducted. You're required to comply.
Vehicle's locked in.
Yes.
He's locked it up. He's putting the window down.
Correct.
I tried to talk to
Huh? Okay. So what did he ask for when he I guess,
when he pulled me over, he walked up, opened my door because my window don't work, right? And then I said, so what I did wrong?
Yeah.
He said, well, for one, your headlights are off under this weather. I'm like, there's multiple people headlights.
Okay, that's still
and then there's no rain.
It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on.
Can you pull that law up?
Huh?
Can you pull that law up?
So here we go. He didn't know why he was being pulled over, but he can articulate to this cop exactly why he's pulled over. And guess what's all over his window? Rain. Wow. That's interesting. And it's crazy that, in Florida, it might only rain for 5 minutes or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, but like obviously it's rain. And why even be caught up on that? We also have, you didn't have your seatbelt on. We have two things.
Yeah, they're not talking about that as much as the headlight thing, but not having your seatbelt on, that's the big one. You have to do that.
I'm out of the car, I will.
Hey,
can you call your supervisor?
Huh?
Can you call your supervisor?
All right, go for it.
exit the vehicle now! Exit the vehicle! Show me your hands.
Here.
Tansey 1033 at 16.1 hours.
What is your reason, sir? What is your reason?
Step out now. All right. Get over there.
No.
And he had no intent of getting on the ground after they told him to get on the ground.
Put your hands behind your back. Resist. Hands behind your back. What's wrong with you?
What do you mean? I was putting my hands behind my back. I was
on now, man. Ain't no talking. What's going on, man? You're under arrest. That's what's going on.
No.
Yes, bro. Yes.
That's a lawful reason, bro.
Oh, and we have a few cops here that are persons of color too. So I don't know if that can be racism or not. So let me explain the punch in the face. In 2025, not a great idea to do the smack in the face. It wasn't a full on punch in the face. That is a distractor. Like that is, we're coming in and we're not going to give you we're not going to give you a chance to shoot us. And let me tell you why that's important. This is my big story for the day that has to do with this case. Santana, you were present for it. Kelly, are you ready for a quick story time before you go to the pool?
Yes,
and
I'm loving this.
And just like enjoy your margaritas and like having a great time.
It's a Bloody Mary. Well, it's
I know that one is
today.
It is,
so
dude. And we're gonna sing happy birthday, but we're gonna get you out of here because it's your birthday, and this is bullshit that you had to work on your birthday.
This is great.
But we're enjoying you. Here we go. So I'm driving with my mother in the car. This is a story in my book, Kelly. So I'm driving with my mom. She came to visit me from Florida. She comes up to North Carolina to visit me, and they're there for the Christmas holiday, and it's January 1st, and it's that night. And my mom says, "Oh my God, I would love to see what you do at work." And I was like, "Why don't you just come ride with me for a couple hours?" She was like, "Oh, I can do that." My dad was like, "Eric, I'm not, your mother shouldn't do that." And I was like, "Dad, come on, like, it'll be cool." I show up at work at 6 p.m. At 5 p.m. And what I'll do is like, I'll drive her to around till 7, and then I'll just bring her right back to the station. She'll go home. Nothing's going to happen on New Year's before fucking 7 p.m. You don't have to worry, Dad. Yeah. So he's like, "All right, great. That's fine. Like, take your mom, whatever." So I bring my mom to the station, and Santana meets them. And of course, like, Santana's like, "Ooh, Tansey's mom," behind her back, when she's not looking at her. I'm like, "Shut it, fucking, I'm going to kill all you," it being just the disgusting turd bags that they all are. And so they're like, being super creepy, and as they all are. And so I'm just joking, that didn't happen. But anyway, so I get my mom kitted up, and we get in the car and we drive around, and I do just that. I take her to Chick-fil-A, get her some biscuits. We go get some coffee. I introduce her to my friends. I circle around my block. We answer a couple of 911 calls. I think we had like a little missing kid, which we found like in seconds. He was down at the basketball courts. No big deal. We get him every day. We get a missing kid every day. You know what I mean? And they're always like at their friend's house or something, So, we're going home, and my mom was like, "Well, what's it like to pull a car over?" And I was like, "You want me to pull a car over, Mom?" She was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "All right, well, I'm not writing any tickets. I'm telling you right now, I will pull one car over. We'll give them a warning, and we'll go. And if I see somebody fucking up." And so I got this in the back of my brain. So I'm kind of being like forever vigilant. And then this car drives by and does the felony look back. He goes, "Oh," and I was like, "Oh, look at this guy." And then I wasn't going to pull him over because the felony look back is some shit you don't really want to get into with your mom in the car. But as he's giving me the felony look back, he stops at a green light. He has a green light in front of him, but he's giving me the felony look back, and he stops at the green light. And so I keep looking back. He's still sitting there. He's still sitting there. And then I'm like, okay, now I've got to fucking turn around because this guy's sitting at a green light. So I turn around, and he has no tail light. His tail light's out. And his headlight was out in the front as well, but I didn't really care. I want to know why he stopped at a green light. Yeah. So I pull over, and I'm going to get behind him, and he takes off. But he takes off at like 100 miles an hour. So now I'm chasing him, and now I have speeding. So I throw on all my blue lights, and he doesn't stop. And I'm not going to chase a car with my mom in the car because that's really, really dangerous. And plus, our policy was just changing at the time that they didn't want us to chase cars anyway. And so right before I go to turn off my lights, the guy slams up onto the curb and slams on his brakes behind this really dark road behind this building there was no lights back there or anything. And so he just stops, and I was like, "Oh, well, hold on. Let's go see what's up, Mom." So I pull in behind this car, and I get up, and this is flamboyantly gay black guy. Big afro, and he is flaming. He's like, "Officer, oh my gosh, please, why did you pull me over? Why did you pull me over?" Like, by the way, why are all like gays and trannies always adopt the California Valley Girl thing?
I don't know, because
you know what I mean in North Carolina
like that. I don't know.
Isn't it strange? I've always wondered, like, why you're in North Carolina? Like, why are we doing California Valley? It's almost as if they all watch Clueless, and they're like, "Yep, I'm gay."
Yes.
But anyway,
like this is they model their behavior after that.
So he's doing this. He's very flamboyantly gay, right? He's like, "Why did you pull me over? Oh my gosh, why did you pull me over?" And so I'm like, "Oh, okay, like, not a big deal." So I'm like, I let my guard completely down. I'm like, "Hey, dude, listen, I pulled you over because you like did the felony look back, you stopped at a green light, your headlights out, and then when I got behind you, you took off extremely fast. Like, what's going on? He's like, honestly, like after Michael Brown, like, I'm just afraid that you're gonna shoot me. And like, I don't want to die tonight. And so like, and then while he's doing this, Kelli, he goes and he looks down at his center console. And it scares me because this is what he does. He goes, I just don't want to get shot. And then he goes and turns his car on, but his car's already on. His car's already running. But he tries, when you try to turn your car on, it's already on. It's like, Rah! So that happens. I'm like, well, why is he trying to turn his car on? And he's looking at his, so now those indicators, I'm like, wait a minute, there's something more to this. So I grab his seatbelt very gently. He doesn't even really know it. And I grab his seatbelt, and then he snaps his head at me and he looks at me really serious. And he was like, get me a supervisor right now. You're really scaring me. And I was like, you're really scaring me. And this whole thing is on video and the whole thing is on microphone. And it was a statewide training video. And he says, I just think that like he's probably got a gun in the center console, which is fine. I don't care. Yeah. And so I just assume, because people don't really get that scared over drugs in their car. Especially if because if I ask, can I search your car? You can just say no. And then that's the end of it. So people don't really give a fuck about, and where we worked, about drugs in their car, but they do give a fuck about having a gun in their car because they know that that's like bad. So I just want to get them away from the gun. So I just come right out with it. I was like, hey man, listen, do you have a gun in that center console? And he was like, what? And I was like, do you have a gun in the center console? No, he never says no. He never says no. He says, okay, I just really want a supervisor. Can you please get me a black cop? So he doesn't say no, right? A reasonable person would say, no, I don't have a gun in my center console. So I was like, hey, listen, man, I'm just going to separate you from the thing. I'm going to step you out and we can talk man to man. That way you're standing up, I'm standing up, and we can just have a conversation because like you're scaring me, I'm scaring you. Let's just get on an even playing ground here. And so my thought here was I'll get him out of the car and he'll just run. And that's okay. Because that's not me getting shot in the face,
right?
Or me having to shoot him right now because of this
having
gun
your
that he has.
mom have to watch her son get
right. This is crazy, and I wasn't really scared of getting shot. Like I was just more scared of this idiot is going to go for this gun and I'm going to fucking kill him right here, and that's not going to work. So I was like, I'll just get him out. Now I have stepped out every single person the same way my entire career. I put one hand on your wrist very lightly and one hand on the back of your shoulder very lightly, and the reason why I do that is because if you're going to run, the first thing you do is tense or strong, and then I can just clamp down and I can grab you on both ways. But I never let somebody out free-handedly. Also, you can't really punch me. I can push your arm away and I can push your head away. It's, I guess you can't see my hands, but like I can push as long as my hands are out here. But this guy, I think he's just gay and scared. And I want to be the cool cop that's like, you don't have to be scared of me because I don't care about you. And you're not in any trouble. Like, I wish every citizen would have a gun on them. So I just need you to be honest that you have a gun so that we're not like fucking things up here. So this guy gets out of his car and I don't put my hands on him because I want to prove to him that I'm not a threat to him. Well, he gets out of the car and he runs to the back of the car. I think he's just running. So I'm like, okay. And I'm not going to chase him because my mom's in the car. So he runs, but then he stops because I don't chase him. And he looks back and this whole fight or flight's going through his brain. He's like, what's going on? And I say, what are you doing? And he's like, I want to show you why my light's not working. Let me pop the trunk. And I said, no. Don't pop the trunk. He's like, no, I'm going to pop the trunk. I want to show you what's. I was like, don't you talk. I was like, matter of fact, sit down right now. And he was like, no. And I was like, dude, sit down now. And I changed my tone and I grab him and I make him sit down. And so he sits down and he starts to cry. He's like, this is not fair. And this is like, I just want to go home. And I was like, well, dude, you're acting crazy right now. And I'm trying to reason with him. I'm like, you're being like really irrational. He's like, it's just me. It's just, I'm dramatic. And I'm like, I get it, bro. But like, this is a traffic stop. It's going to happen. Like you don't have to be scared of the police. Like nothing bad is going to happen. Like, just tell me, do you have drugs or is it guns in the car? Like, what is it in the car that you're so scared about? And he was like, and he stops, he gets really quiet and he looks over his shoulder. And that's indicator number 5, because when somebody wants to run, they always look over their shoulder of where they're going to go to. He's trying to figure out where am I going to run to. So I know this and I'm trying desperately to get trying to confuse him. So I forgot to get on the radio, but I thought in my brain, because everything was moving so fast, that I had called for backup and I didn't. And a car starts to come down this road and I think it's my backup. So I take a step back to wave at the cop car to say like, hey, we're right here. Cause it's a really dark street and I didn't have my lights on. And so I tried to get him to pull over because remember I turned my lights off and that's when he pulled over. He didn't pull over when my lights were on. So the car comes by. It's not a cop. It's just a random car. And I'm like, oh. But when I turned back, homeboy had stood up and he punches me in the face and my head slams down on the ground and he gets down on top of me and he's like, you fucking want to fuck with me, bitch? You want to fuck with me? And he's punching me over and over again. And he's not gay anymore. He is a full-grown fucking man cussing at me and beating the fucking brakes off me. My head.
While your mother is watching.
Yeah, he has no idea that my mom's in the car though.
Oh.
And my head is bouncing off of the ground. Bam, bam. And he's just punching me and he's punching me. And so he finally stops to punch me and he goes to turn around and run. And I reach out and I grab him by the ankle and he's hopping and he's dragging me and I pull myself up his back and he's still just wailing on me. And so I start wailing on him back and then I pick him up and I throw him down and I start punching him and then he rolls over and then I dive down on top of him and then he bites my arm and I'm like, stop biting my arm. And I punch him in the back of the head and I break my hand. My hand just snaps like bam, breaks right here. Well, you can't really see, but it breaks like right over here. Right here. And so it breaks and my hands go tingly. And I knew like right then it broke. Like my hand was like broke. I was like, oh shit. And so I go, oh fuck. And he's able to squirm out and he runs back to the car. Well, there's a gun in the car. We've already established it. So I'm thinking in my brain, if this guy gets to the car, he's going to kill me. So I run, I dive into the car and he opens up the center compartment. And I'm like, here it comes. And so I'm pulling his hair with one hand and I'm slamming his arm. The lid is open and his arm is inside the thing. And so I'm taking the lid and I'm slamming the lid down on top of his arm over and over again. And he's screaming and I'm yelling. And so finally I just say, I'm going to fucking shoot you. And he's like, all right, I quit. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. And I was like, get out of the fucking car. And so I drag him out of the car and I get him down onto the ground. And this cop car pulls up and I think it's my backup, but remember I didn't call for backup. And so this old ass warrant serving sheriff who just goes out and serves subpoenas, this old black man, he gets out of the car and he's like, what's going? Oh Lord. And he sees that I'm bleeding from my face and I'm sitting on top and he jumps down and he starts punching this guy. Bam, bam. And as this old, basically retired cop, he punches him. He's like, put your hands behind your back, young man. Bam, bam. And he's popping this guy because, and so the guy puts his hand behind his back and I say, I can't cuff him because my hand's broken. It doesn't work. And so we get them all handcuffed. And of course, Santana finally shows up. And everything is gone crazy. And so they end up replaying the video and they use it as a statewide training video for a little while to show you that this is exactly how people work. They gave all the indicators. He made himself really big in the window. He stalled. He created a diversion, but there were indicators that that's what he was doing because he looked at. Now, you know what the crazy thing of this whole story is, Kelly?
Whoa,
there was no gun
crazy. What's the craziest?
There was no gun in the car.
Whoa. Oh,
there was there was two 8 balls of cocaine. There was 2 8 balls of cocaine. And at the end of the day, I said, why were you trying to get back to the cocaine? Why didn't you just run it? He said he was going to try to swallow them. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen an 8 ball of cocaine, but that is not easy to swallow. Like it's like a golf ball.
This big?
Yeah, it's like a golf ball. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it would have killed him if he tried to swallow it because that bag would have bust. But you see why we have to be on alert. So how do you think I conducted traffic stops after that?
Oh, you were probably like on high alert.
High alert all the time, right? Because we can't allow ourselves to change our tactics because of the perception of people like St. Augustine here in the chats. My life matters. I know I'm doing the right thing. And so I'm going to go home. Now, this officer blasting that guy in the face, he doesn't care about your perception. He knows that this guy has given all the indicators that he wants to hurt him. And so when we roll this window down, I'm going to pop him in the face so that he knows it's not his fucking time to do it. I'm going to take the fight right out of him right now. And that cop has every right to do so. And it looks bad to the public, and that's okay. Because we don't really, perception is not reality.
It does look bad. So I am so glad you're doing this. I have seen this thing on social media a million times this week, just the guy's side, though, the cell phone side, not the body cam footage. And hearing you guys break it down makes so much more sense. And I was like on the fence. I was like, oh, if they cover that one, I don't know how I feel, because I was thinking before, like, the police used a lot of force. Maybe they shouldn't have done that. But after seeing it, I think of it. After seeing the the body cam footage and hearing how you guys explain it, I think a lot differently. So
you know, it's different. And I had my leg broke in 5 places fighting another suspect that wanted to run. It was a suspect that gave up, and I put my gun away, and he heard me put my gun away. And so he turned around and attacked me, and I broke my leg. And luckily Santana was there and all these other guys were there to fight him. But, you know, Santana could tell you my leg was mangled. I got 12 screws, 2 pins, and playing a rod. And so, you know, people think that when you go to work as a cop, that nothing happens. I mean, I only was a cop for 7 years, like actually working as a cop on the street. But in that time frame, I got my tooth knocked out. I broke my hand fighting. I broke my leg fighting, and we've had multiple friends get in shootings while we were cops. I mean, we had cops get in car crashes where suspects ran their cars into the cops trying to get away from them. I mean, every day that you go to work, there's a potential that you are going to be in the fight of your life.
Yeah.
And you're doing that for 30 years. And so, you know, we have to be on the edge. And so though this cop, I think it sucks in 2025, it would be hard to punch that guy in the face, but it is the right thing to do to protect your guys. There is a reason why he's stuck in that car and he's not getting out. And do you want to gamble? If you play poker, do you want to gamble with your friends' lives because you wanted to look cool for the public, or you didn't want to be tried by the public? And so I didn't want to hit him in the face because that would look bad. And then they bust that window and that dude is able to reach in, grab the gun and and then he dies. Or, you know, a lot of the times I know I can take the fight out of you and then I don't have to kill you. Does that make sense?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. You have to constantly be on guard. And so many cases I've seen where they played it like a cop might play it safe and be a little more lenient with the person, but they end up getting disarmed and shot or something. You just have to be on guard.
Yeah. And still, you don't see this coming out of state troopers and I know I do a lot of stand-up comedy, and so I make fun of state troopers quite a bit, but because they're all assholes and they don't have a sense of humor, that's why I make fun of them. I'm just kidding, guys. But you know, but you never see state troopers having these problems because they work alone and their rules of engagement are different. It's like they will tell you once, and if you don't listen, they will beat your ass. And everybody knows that when a state trooper pulls you over, you don't see fat state troopers.
No.
Tiny women state troopers.
Yeah.
State troopers are always like fucking real deal jacked. You know, they're usually really tall. They're always slim and slender because they don't fuck around. The state doesn't fuck around about your feelings. You know, cops, they're ran by the city. And so you get a lot of politics involved. And so they want more female cops. They want more black cops. What they do is they start cheating the standards to get, you know, these folks into law enforcement, but it's dangerous to you because if you're a girl that doesn't meet the standard, there's a real chance that you could get hurt. Like a grown man like me, like even my partner Red, who I talk about in the book, and she's in phenomenal shape. I don't think Red could arrest me. I don't think she would win in that fight. Do you, Santana? I mean, maybe.
Well,
maybe.
You've got good points, and I think that what you're saying with state troopers is absolutely true. They're always in shape. They're usually walking around with a mag light in the daytime. You know, that's something that you would traditionally see. And, you know, as far as arresting you, I would hope that Red would just, you know, shoot you with a taser as soon as you don't comply.
Yeah, she'd have to.
You know,
she'd have to taser.
And that's really what has to happen. And that's what I think is what's really good about this case is they spent a lot of time trying to gain compliance. You know, they did the whole use of force thing or show of force where they got multiple vehicles there. I assume one of those guys was the supervisor. They tried to talk him down and none of that happened. So, you know, to say that, I don't think it's a far stretch to imagine that if you're standing there as a cop, that the suspect in the vehicle has other motives besides just trying to be non-compliant.
Yeah. And somebody's got a little argument about the punch. I would say that that's probably not a punch, jab at best. But like, listen, if a cop wants to fucking punch you, we will fucking punch you. And like when I hit somebody in the face with my closed fist, there's a huge difference between me mushing you, slapping you, jabbing at you, and then me absolutely blasting you in the face. So yeah, I think there are rules that, listen, it's your birthday. We want to support you for your birthday. all you have to do to support her is go buy her book right now. There's no other present that she would want for her birthday than to sell a whole bunch of books today. So tell us, what is the name of your book? And so a Deadleg, I want you to bring it up really quick. I'm stalling. Tell us the name of your book. We'll bring it up.
True Crime Sleep Stories. I have 3 volumes, 1 through 3, and Missing Persons Archives, and they're all available on Amazon. Or you can go to my Instagram, Kelli Brink, KELLIBRINK, and you can find my links there too.
Okay, it is Kelli Brink, KELLI. Pay attention, all you ADHD motherfuckers. KELLI. Don't be putting in KELLIE or Y and be like, why can't I find Kelli Brink? Okay, pay attention. 99% are audio listeners, so I have to like reel them in right now because they're driving down the road not paying attention. So let me pay attention, boys and girls. KELLIBRINK. True Crime Sleep Stories. That's what we all need, right? When we're trying to get laid after a hard shift. Is your wife reading about some fucking cold case while you're trying, you know what I mean? Like, I need you true crime women to put some like a true crime sleep story, but then put like some kind of like gnarly, like, you know, and then she would.
Yeah.
Okay.
Volume 3 is all about love stories, like love gone wrong. So have your lady buy volume 3. It will put them in an amorous mood while they're getting their true crime fix. So.
All right, there. That's what we need. That's what we need. Some like really graphic. Actually, you could be the first one to do this. You could do like a true crime sex novel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've thought of that actually. Yeah, that'd be fun.
You'd be like the first one. It's like real stories, but you just like embellish like the love scenes that lead up to the like crazy parts, you know, because they were always in love at one point before
everyone's in love at some point.
The affair phase.
Yeah.
Before it turns into the murder, we can't get caught phase.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, we know where to find your book. You guys go and support her. Support Santana True Crime. Go and follow her. Hey, thank you so much for coming on for your birthday. Wow.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, Kelli.
Yeah.
You can be a star anytime. If you ever have questions, true crime questions, you can hit us up and ask us from a police perspective, and we can clarify something for you, or at least debate it. Or, you know, that's what's a lot of fun. So, guys, thank you so much. Wolfpack, you guys have all been great. Guns up, giddy up, follow everybody. Head over to factor75.com. Use the promo code Wolfpack50OFFF for 50% off, plus free shipping. I want to get you out of here because it's your birthday. Until next time, guys, cheers.